right, begin.
What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well tonight. Now, before we get started, I want to ask you guys a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button and also smash that share button so we can push this video through the algorithm and hopefully get this channel to where it needs to be. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and take a deep dive into drama tonight. So, Jussie Smollet has been found guilty of 5 counts of disorderly conduct for making false reports to the police about the incident that took place on that cold and eat fresh subway night. So basically, Jussie Smollet lied about the whole situation. Now, let's take a second to run down these charges that they found Jussie Smollet guilty of. So let's start with count 1. Guilty, making a false police report. He was the victim of a hate crime to Officer Muhammad Baig. I hope that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. If I'm not, that's what his name is tonight. So count 2, guilty, making a false police report. He was the victim of battery to Baig. Count 3, guilty, making a false police report. He was the victim of a hate crime to Detective Kimberly Murray. Count 4, guilty, making a false police report. He was the victim of a battery to Detective Kimberly Murray. Count 5, guilty, making a false police report. He was the victim of a battery to Detective Kimberly Murray. Now, a disorderly conduct charge for a false crime report is a class 4 felony and punishable by up to 3 years in prison and a $25,000 fine. The Cook County Judge, James Lynn, will have discretion in imposing a concurrent or consecutive sentence for each count at a later date. Now, I guess it's worth noting that Jussie was acquitted on 1 count of felony disorderly conduct, but hey, listen, he got hit with 5. So listen, the brother was found guilty. Now, to be honest, this thing ain't all that complicated. It's not complicated at all. The reason why Jussie Smollett got convicted is because the Ansandero brothers came with receipts.
The receipts? Do I need to bring the receipts? No, I got receipts.
Now, the jury involved in this case deliberated for 9 hours. They deliberated for 2 hours on yesterday, and they deliberated for 7 hours today. Now, the information that has been leaked out of the courthouse in this situation is the fact that they're saying that Jussie did himself a disservice by actually testifying. And with him testifying, he is subject to actually face some prison time. Without him testifying, he would have just got probation and a fine. So the fact that he testified, it actually sent a clear picture to the jury that Jussie Smollett was lying about the whole thing. His story just didn't add up. It didn't match up. There were just no dots to connect when Jussie gave his accounts on what happened on that particular night. So the judge will remember that, how the jury felt, because they expressed that, it was just a bold-faced lie that Jussie Smollett was telling. And so they're saying that this is very critical because the judge will remember that when it's time for Jussie to be sentenced. You want to talk about somebody that should have just sat there and ate their food instead of testifying? This was the time for Jussie to just have sat there and ate his food. But Jussie elected to get on the stand and regurgitate his lies. Now he's facing some time possibly. Now, the one thing that I do have to respect, coming from Jussie, is the fact that the prosecution, they were reading some text messages that took place between Jussie and the Ansandero brothers. And those text messages included the ninja word. And so you guys know that I'm paraphrasing what I really want to say, but I have to paraphrase that word. And so Jussie asked the prosecution to not use that word because he felt that the gentleman that was actually reading the documentation was actually being too free. He was saying the word over and over and over again, and he doesn't have the same hue as me or Jussie. And Jussie was like, yo, could you stop using that word? So I have to respect Jussie for standing up in the courthouse and saying, brother, put a cap on it. You are not the same hue as I am, so it's inappropriate for you to keep reading that word over and over. Now, it's being reported that one of the Ansandero brothers were not in attendance due to the fact that he was in Louisiana preparing for a boxing match tonight, according to his attorney, Gloria Rodriguez. And so basically, the one brother that was in attendance by the name of Ola, when the verdict was read, he just sat there emotionless. I mean, what else this brother supposed to do? The brothers had all the receipts. They had documentation after documentation after documentation, and after everything went down, Jussie Smollett was still keeping in contact with them. And so on the night of the alleged attack, Jussie actually was keeping in communication with them, saying, hey, I'm landing here, I'm almost there, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And so basically, when you have all your ducks in a row, what else you expect this brother to do? They're not going to have any emotion because the courts have decided that they were telling the truth, and the receipts provide, that conclusion. Now, according to reports, when the verdict was read, Jussie appeared to be rigid and he gazed straight ahead. And so, basically probably gazed straight ahead, just staring straight ahead because he was embarrassed and he's been exposed to the 10th power. Now, Jussie wasn't detained, right? So he was allowed to leave the courthouse once the verdict was read. So that means that he can go and get him a Subway sandwich tonight if he so chooses to. Now, another thing that's imminent is the fact that Jussie is going to have to pay that $130,000 that the city of Chicago spent on investigating this issue. If you guys remember, the mayor was saying, hey, you need to pay $130K, but Jussie and his team elected not to pay that. So I believe that they're going to come for that money now. So the next steps for Jussie, well, he just has to sit tight with his dute clutched and wait to be sentenced by the judge. Now, I've said this over and over again. I do not believe that Jussie Smollett should get any time. I really don't. I think that maybe he should pay a fine and also, do some type of community service. Now, I read that he was initially facing a fine and community service, but like I told you guys previously, the fact that he took the stand, it really incriminated him to the 10th power. And so he's looking at jail time, y'all. Let's just keep it real. But like I said on many occasions when discussing this case, I don't believe that Jussie should get any time. Like I said, all these Karens and Kens that have done the same thing to people that have the same hue as I do, they've accused us of things that we necessarily didn't do. And look how we were treated, and look how they got off scot-free and just lived their life to the fullest. So I don't wish jail time on Jussie, and I stand firm on that. But anywho, I'm gonna let this go and let y'all have that in the comments. Drop down and let me know what you think about this whole entire situation. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll get with you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.